The YouTubes. Welcome back.
We are back.
Back again.
Woo! We are back. Back again. Alright, we're back. Alright.
When do you?
Wait. We're on this
We're on the
conversation.
We're on the dingle.
You haven't. So you just don't want it out on the internet. That's the only reason.
That's.
Can I ask you a personal question?
You've already asked me several. Go ahead and ask me another.
Have you ever sent a woman who wanted it your hoo-ha?
I have definitely sent my hoo-ha.
All right, so it's out there on the internet, is what you're saying.
Oh. It is through the internet.
Because you have no control over if it stays in the presence of that feline.
Feline.
But females are cats, boys are dogs. Didn't you know that? That's I don't know how they have puppies or kittens because I was told cats are females and dogs are men. When I was younger, like 30. So you just don't with all these streaming platforms out there, you don't want to take advantage of your own television channel.
With my pee-pee?
No, but it's an actor. It's dressed up, like it's playing Casper maybe, or maybe you do like Bo Dingle or something like that. Mr. Bo Jingles or something. Bojangles. Would you do a Bojangles?
I mean, wait.
Do you know who Bojangles is?
No.
All right, so then it's funny to me then.
I would do a Michigan J. Frog for the painting.
Oh my god. What do you mean if? You absolutely could. There's body paint. Let's get some. Does anyone know any good healthy body paint JD could use to start? Also fabrics. I know he's allergic to. What are Jewish people allergic to? Are you allergic to?
Ovens. You're welcome.
Jesus. All right. Anyway, where were we? Oh, streaming. All right. So you're streaming your OnlyFans. No, okay.
On Netflix.
On Netflix. I would do it, but I just know no one would care because they'd just be like, "We only get it's so tiny," and I'd be like, "I know, but look, it's Mario," and they're like, "He's not even fat. It's not even fat Mario. It's tiny and thin." I don't have time for that.
Well, you get like a bicycle pump to pump it up so you can be Fat Mario.
I could just get a dildo and make like it's mine and then just dress up the dildos.
Can you get like one of the sparkly ones?
I mean, I can make it sparkly, but then I'd have to buy a new one.
You just go and like Party City and buy glitter.
Now, would you use a dildo while you're streaming?
I mean, to dress it up like Mario?
No, to watch TV.
It doesn't have eyes.
What if we put like googly eyes? I'm not enjoying this thing. I need googly eyes. Oh,
Here's much more fun.
look how nice that is. Right. So they don't get paid a lot.
So what you're saying is that the pay for a streaming TV show as a cable network TV show are definitely different.
Well, the reason I back in the day, if you made like a movie for YouTube, but like you didn't want to spend the kind of money you have to spend, and also you couldn't afford to pay the actors. A new media project allows you to defer payment
Through the SAG.
Through the SAG.
SAG.
SAG-AFTRA union. You could do a deferment. You could kind of do that with a low budget too, I believe. But
there's different tiers for low budget too, right?
Yeah. But the low budget is also, I think, the deferment means you still have to pay them X amount of dollars. But also with a new media project, if you can pay them, it's also a smaller fee, so that you don't have to give them their minimum, whatever that might be. So streaming is like the devil's advocate when it comes to like, do you want to be in the business or not? It's like, come on, But like, thankfully the union, USAN representatives of the SAG-AFTRA are fighting for our greatness and making things possible. So that's good.
This way it's not, people taking advantage of other people.
Yeah, you don't want to take advantage. You just, you want some stuff to come out. But the other thing is, I wanted to talk about this subject. So OnlyFans, no. The thing is, earlier I said something about originality, and like if you take an adaptation of, say, like a book or a movie or a TV show or a movie or anything that was one thing and now is something else.
Either you're changing like the media, or you're doing a retelling of a story.
Yeah, it's like one thing, but that's the issue. Is there's a lot of that going on, and also there's a lot of taking something that was interesting, like the Harry Potter universe, not Harry Potter, but the Harry Potter universe, and then just making a new Wizarding World and then putting that on Netflix or wherever. That's why I like The Boys, is because it's not a superhero show in the sense that we're used to it. They're turning it around going, what if it was real and it was in our world? They obviously would be making movies. They would be, controlled by media. Like they would have this addiction to social media and their ratings. And I think The
It would be a
Boys.
business.
Yeah, they'd be a business, and I think that's the original perspective on it. But again, the other issue is that The Boys is literally based on the comic book.
The Boys.
The Boys. I miss original works, and that's the funny thing about the stuff we're working on is the shows that we are working on aren't necessarily based on books that exist, though there are books that are in that world.
Well, they're all tied into one thing. So like all the media is tied together. So like something that is a book stands alone, but it's tied to the same,
Yeah, I would never like for example, the Maven Wars. Once those 3 books are done, well, I'm going to release one book at a time. But when those 3 books are done, I'm never going to try to film that.
Like this is this. It's going to stay in this medium.
Yeah, if I was going to do that, I would film it from a character's perspective that wasn't the main characters. Like there wouldn't. Maybe it would be another character that's in that world, and it just so happens the Maven Wars are happening.
Like the dog.
Like the dog.
If let's say they come out, Warner Brothers comes up to us and goes, "Hey, we want to make these movies."
I would say no.
Cool.
I would because that's not what I want. But I would say my compromise to that would. What if we made a movie based on a person or people experiencing the Maven Wars? Because the Maven Wars already exists in a book. So if we can take even a character that was like a one-off in the book, like they meet a character, or even a new character, it wouldn't matter at that point, because now you can do whatever you want as long as the Maven Wars is sort of like what is happening in the world. It's the same thing with World War I or World War II movies. Like what's nice about those is taking isolated moments, like for example,
like Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan.
That's one story that happened,
And it wasn't necessarily about World War I or II. It wasn't about World War II. Oh yeah, because they go to the beach. It was about Saving Private Ryan. It was about these characters risking their lives to save an only son, and they,
the last son.
The last son.
All the other ones got
killed on a boat or something. Wasn't World War II was when they stopped. You couldn't have. They started making it so brothers couldn't go to war together.
They were separated.
Yeah, because you don't want to lose the whole family.
Yeah, and then there was also a rule like you had with Saving Private Ryan, like, they were the last person you get sent home.
Yeah, they were like, you gotta go home. But also, it was great is the morality of the story. You better. I hope you were worth saving. Do something with your life. And then like everyone, spoiler alert, becomes doctors in heaven because they die. But that's how I would do it. I would say, look, the best way to make this movie is not necessarily the Maven Wars. I think it would be better if we explored
the world as it's going on.
Or if we explored a moment, because the Maven Wars is over the course of like 10 or 12 years or something.
That's okay.
It's a long, because Devious is 9 when it starts, and then
He's a wee little baby.
he's a wee little baby. Yeah, and then I think he's 8. No, I think he might be a little longer. Anyway,
It's a long time.
it's a long time. So if they did a movie that was like took book 1 and like they were like, we'll film book 1 and then film book 2 and then film book 3.
So you wouldn't do a Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings.
I'd be like, you guys. Well, book 1 and 2 is basically literally the same time period. Like it's just.
But you would. What I'm saying is, you wouldn't be like, oh, here's my trilogy, then here's my movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. What I would want to do is if they came in and we really love the story, I go, well, why don't we take a moment during that's not necessarily portrayed in the books. Maybe it's hinted on in the books, and we kind of talk about that. Maybe we talk about, that would excite me and be worth it, because it's not about the money when it comes to creative endeavors. That's why I make it so I can make money outside of whatever it is I do, and that's why I'm always working to create wealth, because I don't want to have to say yes.
So what about in like 20 years? They're just like, hey, this book has been out. We want to make a movie. You'd still be like, no.
20 years? Well, in 20 years I'd be 60s. It depends where I am in my life. Obviously after I die, I don't give a crap what they do. But while I'm alive, if I have the ability
to say no,
to say no, I would. And again, the reason is because Ian Fleming, his movies were destroyed. Those movies destroyed the books, but also the books were terrible. You know what I'm saying? So the movies themselves made them action films, spy action films.
Yeah, because the character is interesting. Sometimes comes down to the execution.
Well, that's why I think the Daniel Craig versions of James Bond have been amazing. First of all, the movies are connected.
So it's one, story instead of movie of the month.
Yeah, whereas and I liked Sean Connery and I like Roger Moore and stuff like that.
I love that all the Roger Moore ones are just how ridiculous can we make this?
But that's what I'm saying. None of the movies were really linked together. It was just what weird situation can we put? Yeah, well, some of the villains, they were
Jaws was in it, had Blofeld.
Down Louise.
And Money Penny, and
Q. Yeah, but those are the things that they were this is a Bond film, but it wasn't a continue.
There was no continual story.
There was no emotional continued story.
The only continual story was after the George Lazenby one where he got married. They kept that continuity where it would come up periodically that he was married and he'd be like, I'm not talking about it.
Wait, who?
George Lazenby. He did one James Bond movie.
Yeah, the All the Queen's Men or something.
On Her Majesty's Service.
Yeah, on Her Majesty's Service.
He gets married in that one.
Yeah, but he's never in another movie.
No, I'm saying but James Bond, the character, before they rebooted it with Daniel Craig, they would reference periodically that he had been previously married, and he'd be like, I'm not talking about it.
Oh,
that's the only continuity.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's always in a passing line.
Well, in Pierce Brosnan, who was pretty good Bond, except the movies were terrible. But they were good, they were great, but now they're terrible because our audience brain is sophisticated, whereas back then,
I just want to see stuff explode.
I don't like Mary Sue's. And even though the terminology is pretty old-fashioned, but Mary Sue's is basically anyone. They're just an indestructible character. And James Bond is indestructible, and that's why I like Daniel Craig, because he's not. Yes, he wins in the end, but he gets his ass beat. A
lot.
Yeah, the only time I think Pierce Brosnan got hurt, other than the torture scene in the one where they're in the ice fortress. In the beginning of that movie, he gets beat up.
I think in Tomorrow Never Dies, he ends up having he gets his shoulder dislocated, and that's an issue throughout the entire movie. Maybe I don't know. But it's nothing. It's nothing there's no pushback right now. You're just he's mildly hurt. Yeah, he's got this. You're just all right. I think the best movies are when the heroes human. Yeah, that's also why I like Blade films, except for the third one. But even the third one did it. Where not Denzel Washington. The Marvel movies, they get hurt. Yeah, and they're flawed. Tony Stark is emotionally unstable. That's his biggest flaw. Well, it's sure. That's his biggest flaw. There's a few big flaws when it comes to Tony, but his thing was he redeemed those flaws. He definitely became a redemption story. But a lot of time, if you look at the stories, though, I would say in those stories, Tony Stark and Captain America start on opposite sides. At one point or another, they meet in the middle and then they pass. But I actually want to go back to storytelling. Because earlier I was talking about storytelling. When it comes to these movies and TV shows and creating originality, like you were saying, some of these seasons only have 8 episodes or 10 episodes. I think a strong season could have 12 episodes, even if they were an hour long. And the reason is because when it comes to breaking down an arc, episode 1 and 2 would really show you their world.
you know, like their lives, you know, because that's their everyday, their ordinary world.
Yeah, but it's also a lot of characters, and you have the time to introduce everybody.
Yeah, to develop
Create
the
that.
stories, pull us in. What is there? What is going on? What are the rules of the world?
Why should I care about Bill?
Why should I care about Bill? Why should JD get an OnlyFans? You're a little bad recently.
Oh no. Let me plug this guy in.
But additionally, in storytelling, when there's a story format, you know, you have Act 1, and then you have the inciting incident, which starts Act 2. And now you could do episode 3 and 4 is the rise, the ascending Act 2 to your, and then you have episode 6 and 7 as your midpoint. This is like everything bad possibly happened, right? Then you have 9, 10 is your descending of you know, Act 2. And then 11, 12 would be the conclusion, would be Act 3. So every 2 episodes would be an act or a section of an act. So it'd be Act 1 to inciting incident, then it'd be ascending for the next 2 episodes, and then it's descending for the next 2. Oh no, and then it's the midpoint for 2 episodes, then it's descending for 2 episodes, and then it's Act 3 for 2 episodes. So that's why I think every season, every show that we create that's an hour long, that's how we do it. We make them have 12 episodes, and we break the episodes down like that. Though you should also have your narrative through line should be influencing the whole story. So it's not like it's absolutely like we can't talk about anything, and you know you have to introduce stuff. In fact, in most movies, you introduce like the villains, like the main players within the first 17 minutes of a good movie. So that's interesting. What else?
Except for the Expendables, where they introduced Chuck Norris. Like halfway through, just
But he's not a main character.
Chuck Norris is always the main character.
All right, fair enough. You working with an army? No, just me. He destroys everybody. That was the third one. That was the second one. I
That's the second one. I don't think I've seen the third one. Surprisingly.
The third one was pretty good. Wesley Snipes is the best. Oh, and Mel Gibson's actually the villain.
Yeah, I did not see that.
And Terry Crews is in it.
Well,
He gets
Terry
hurt.
Crews is
He gets
in
hurt in that one.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that he usually just has like the giant guns.
Oh, he's so funny. He's the best. The thing that was really good about that movie was it knew what it was. Like it wasn't like we're changing the game. Like
It was like, no, we're just literally gonna get every big action star from the 80s and 90s and do one stupid, fun movie.
yeah, let's do it. Who do we know? I don't know. These people. Perfect. Yeah. You know, it's like, you think Stone Cold Steve Austin would want to do it? Sure. Oh, you have a bad back? That's okay. Everyone does. Sylvester Stallone, I think, broke his back or neck during that film.
Yikes.
Where I think it's during the Steve Austin fight where he gets pushed into like the wall or something like that. I don't remember. I think it's something. But he's kind of hurt on. In Rocky 3, Rocky 4, he almost died.
Wait, what? What happened?
Darth Lundgren, he was told to punch. Sylvester Stallone's like, no, hit me, like really hit me. And he did, and he actually swelled his heart up with one hit, one punch. Punched him right in the chest.
Jesus.
And he had to go to the hospital, and he had to stay there for a couple of days, and he was almost died of a swollen heart. Had some broken ribs. And then, he's hurt himself pretty bad in a lot of films.
So, don't fight Dolph Lundgren.
Or Sylvester Stallone, because he got right, he got up and like got healed, and he's like, I'll take another one. Dude. I don't care what it is. This is what I do. Right, Rambo. You know, it'd be a good way to make Rambo last blood. Man. Great name. We have nothing to do with Rambo, right? Okay, I'm gonna have Mexican in the cartel. Great. I'll rip his heart out, and then there's no coming back from that. Aren't you like 80? Yeah, what's wrong with that?
What are you talking about? Did he have a stroke?
You know. I don't remember. It's been over. What's this? Literally arm wrestle us to death. Over the top. No, okay.
Making $8 million a minute.
He's a wealthy man. Have you seen his daughters? I think they're not in the acting business, but they have TikTok and they have Instagram, like Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester's doing TikTok now. Where's this guy? He's to retire. No, I'm going to do it forever.
Listen, he's got to get into every form of entertainment.
How old are you going to let yourself get before you're like, I'm done? Like, what age are you going to just be like,
what?
Just any, like, the idea of like doing something. When will they just be like, no, I'm only going to do it if I want to do it, but I don't need to do it. I'm done. Like, when do you feel that way?
Well,
yeah.
I don't feel like I'm gonna get to that point because, like, I just.
Well, you're also like 10 right now, so like,
Listen,
you're a
there's
kid.
so much to do and see. Why would I want to stop doing stuff?
So when you're like 90, you're like, yeah, I want to tour still. I'll be the Rolling Stones.
When I'm 90, I'll be able to just be like, hey, I'm gonna hire you to pick all this stuff up, put the guitar on, I'm gonna sit on this stool.
All right, so
with a helmet on my head.
You would be happy being the Rolling Stones? Not necessarily the Rolling Stones, but what they have as a life.
If I could be Mick Jagger and have open heart surgery, and then like
on stage,
and then a week later get up and start doing yoga, yes, I would love to do that at the age of like 80 million.
Start doing cocaine?
No, that's that.
And heroin.
No,
Keith Richards. No, he doesn't do drugs. Drugs do him. They're always like, I need a hit, Keith Richards.
Fair enough.
No, you can't do it. It's bad. Very bad. No, don't do the drugs.
I just love that Christopher Walken was a photo recorder.
He was a tap dancer, yeah. He loved tap dancing. He grew up learning how to tap dance. My mom, she made me tap dance. It was very nice.
You're watching the Fabulous Film video.
Absolutely. Maybe you. Drop the gun now.
Hi, I want to.
Don't want to.
Don't.
I was there when he. I don't need to listen to you. I was there when Sodom and Gomorrah blew up. You ever see that? Oh, you haven't seen the Prophecy.
I saw the Prophecy 1 when I was like 10.
Hi, nice hair. Everything about that series is amazing. Anyway, no, so you're saying, as a musician, you'd be okay being a touring jukebox. That would fulfill you. You'd be like, no, let me charge people $300 because, we're at Rolling Stone status. Put the guitar on me. Let's just play, an hour and a half of our hits. Would you be that? Knowing anything you wrote would be as bad as it possibly could be. Because the Rolling Stones, they try writing new music, and people are like, "There's no Rolling Stones." And like, well, we're trying to be cooler, trying to evolve. People are like, yeah, evolve by doing the songs we like.
I think that is an issue that happens when you as a band, you get to a point where people are like, oh, we just want you to play the hits.
That's what I'm saying. Would you be like, no?
I personally just love performing.
Yeah, yes.
I love being on stage.
So you don't care how boring your show gets?
I don't think, well, if people are enjoying it.
How do you know?
Well,
have you seen a Kiss concert?
Is it just full?
They're like, what are they doing? Oh, he's spitting the fire.
Wait.
Oh, what are they doing? They're playing music? Oh, look, he's doing the fire. Oh, God, they're playing music again. Oh, blood. Oh, look, they're flying. This is cool.
Are people paying the ticket to see it?
Oh, yeah, of course, because it's nostalgic. That's why they're paying. You would be happy charging someone $200 to come see you at 80 years old playing. By the way, you can listen to his music on
You can check out Tom's music on the Dragon's Den.
Yeah, spelled A-L.
That's not even right.
So, all right, so you'd be okay stealing people's money for their enjoyment.
I didn't say I would charge them $200.
How much would you charge? Free?
I don't know.
You just let them come to the show because it's a jukebox show. Jukebox hero with stars in his eyes. So,
listen.
I don't think you're answering my question.
I would be happy performing,
no matter what, except on OnlyFans. Unless you were on your period, then that would be a show.
I would have to go to the doctor at that point because I don't have proper plumbing to be on my period.
All right, just for our audiences, Just so the audience knows, when JD is 80 years old, he's going to charge you $5, $10. What are you going to charge?
I don't know. We'll see what the inflation rate is.
All right, $30 a show, and he's only going to play the songs he played for 5 years, and he's not going to play anything new. And you're going to enjoy yourself because you're performing. By the way, at 80, let's be honest, you're not performing. Especially when you said somebody will put the guitar on me. Someone needs to put the guitar on you. You ain't performing. You're surviving. Can I make you through another 30 minutes? We didn't even start playing it. Oh, God. Ready, guys? Can we just hit play on the radio? Let's just mime this. I mean, I just like to perform. I'm playing
the guitar anymore.
Alright,
We'll see
so
what happens with them.
listen, I had to go on a 6-month tour.
Is the stool like,
Yeah, coming out of you. Yes, your stool is
the
coming
stool
out
that
of
I'm
you.
sitting on, or
No, no.
is it made of dragon?
The stool is just coming out of you because at the age you can't hold it into your sphincter.
You have dragon scale bumpers.
Oh my god. So
Well, what would you do at 80? Would you be performing?
no.
You'd be like, I'm done.
I wouldn't be doing anything I didn't want to be doing. That would be my
Would you want? You don't want to perform
I love performing. It's
So
one of
why
my
would you
favorite things in
perform?
the world. Why would you say I don't want to perform?
because you just said you wouldn't be performing at 80.
No, I said I wouldn't be doing anything I didn't want to do.
Well, before that, I asked you directly if you wanted.
And then I corrected it. I'm allowed to change my mind. It's not considered flip-flopping. It's called new information. As I was saying it, I realized, no, the true answer is I would do
Would you?
anything I wanted. I wouldn't do anything I
When you
didn't want.
when you change your mind, you have to like lift up the hair first to put it in.
This is why you're single. No, I that's even now, I will not do anything I don't want to do because I can. I have the power to say no to things. And that'll be my life forever. I will never have to say yes to anything just because I need to pay a bill or whatever the case may be.
Or chat.
Or Chad needs to get paid. But I also, I think when I was younger, I said, even when I was in my 20s, I was like, I don't want to be Metallica. Like, Metallica's what, 60 now? Almost 60? 50?
Yeah.
Right? Oh, they're 20, yeah, they're 20 years older. So, they're like 60, and they're playing Master of Puppets. And, you know, they have like, you can see Ben Gay on them, and, you know.
You smell it from the road.
It's terrible. Like, to me, at that point, I would probably just keep writing music because I'd be like, it's taking more out of me to go tour than it is to enjoy.
Metallica doesn't have to tour though, so like.
They don't, but they do. You know,
I think they just.
and that's my point.
Enjoy touring.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. The monster that is Metallica, they don't have a say in that. It's a business. That's why Jason Newsted was kicked out. You think he quit? No, he got fired.
I know he got fired
Yeah, why did he get fired?
because didn't he breach the contract by having a second band?
I digress back to my previous statement. They don't have a choice in it. You know, it's the beast that is Metallica Inc. is controlling the outcome of their choices, and that to me is horrifying. I would never want to be in that situation.
You want to control the choices for everything that you do.
Absolutely.
You don't want the business to control
Like,
the choices.
If I want to act, I'll act. If I don't want to act, I don't want to act. But the thing with music, though, if I had, like, even if COVID didn't exist right now, like, if I wanted to play a show, I would just go play a show. But because I don't do anything to make money. Like, if I do a show, I'm not doing it to make money. If I do a movie, I'm not doing that to make money. I'm doing something else to make money with that movie. But the movie itself, I know in my heart of heart, has nothing to do with making money.
Yeah.
It just, there's nobody in the world that can say, this movie made money.
You make the art because it fulfills you, and then you do the business to earn you money as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure there's people here like, what do you mean the movie doesn't make you money? Because if you make a movie, and all you do is show it to your friends and family, you're not gonna make money. How do you make money with a movie? Do you think it's the movie that makes you money?
No,
No, it's not at all.
because it's an inanimate object. It can't do anything.
That's right. If your movie was the reason you made money, that means you don't have to make another movie because you could just keep showing that movie for the rest of your life. And by showing it, just own it because you don't want to. But the moment you choose to show it or distribute it or sell it, that's going to take marketing. And marketing is what sells movies. The movie itself doesn't matter what it is. However, if it is terrible, you get a Justice League situation where they make millions and they still are like, all right, this film flopped critically by the fans, and then people just don't want to buy into the brand anymore. So you still have to be cognizant of your brand and the value of it, and but also the quality. Warner Brothers literally made Justice League just to make it. There was no, the value of that story has complete different context than the value of, say, the first Avengers or even the third or fourth.
Yeah, well, they took a lot more build up and a lot more character development, a lot more.
That's not what it was at all. No. Yes, 10 years, Avengers Endgame, 11 years, whatever. People were bought into the brand. They were following this
What I'm
journey.
saying was a lot more thought put into the creation. It wasn't just slapped together.
But if you just talk, well, yes and no. They didn't believe they could go past Avengers. That was a risk for them. They were like, let's make Avengers and see what happens. In fact, Thanos at the end of that wasn't even in the books. They weren't even thinking Thanos. That was a Joss Whedon Easter egg. In fact, even though Thanos is in the movie before the ending, because that's who's on the rock when they're talking and discussing the plan. He's just not talking, But the reason Justice League failed isn't because they didn't have 6 or 7 movies before it introducing the characters. It's because during none of the narrative made sense. It was just pointless rhetoric. And we watched that video the other day. They're literally the same movie, but the reason the Avengers works is because it's about character first. And the reason Justice League failed is because it's about things that happen. They have to get the mother box. There's no conflict. They have you know what we should do? We should make Superman come back to life. Let's do that. What's the conflict there? Superman's evil for two-thirds of a minute, and then Lois Lane somehow brings evil Superman back to goodness, and then he's like, all right, let me go help these guys. Oh, by the way, my suit is brighter.
Well, he polished
it. He definitely polished it. But that's the thing. Justice League, things were happening, and in Avengers, things had motivation. The characters themselves were pushing each other apart, and then they themselves.
Things were happening for reasons that seemed plausible.
No, things happened because of character choices. Justice League, things happened because they had to. Superman had to be brought back to life. So how do we do that? They were creating their own conflicts, not out of character, but out of need. Necessity. So that's the big thing about storytelling.
Well, they're doing the Snyder Cut coming out apparently, right?
Yeah, it's going to be as bad. It'll probably be a little bit better because there won't be sexual assaulting moments in it, like Joss Whedon does in all his films. Because he's a pervert.
I still have yet to see Justice League because I was going to, and I remember you saw it opening day, and you're like, JD.
I didn't see it opening day, but I'll put it this way: I was walking around with a girl.
You literally called me right afterwards, and you're like, "Don't see it."
I was like, "Please don't. I'll pay you not to see it." Okay. Well, there's a theater that was near me in Brooklyn that was $6 on a Wednesday, and I was walking around with a lady, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to go home and make fun of this movie?" And we paid $6. Well, I paid $12. I paid for her.
You paid $12.
I paid $12. She bought nothing, but that's okay.
Because you're a gentleman.
Yeah, I didn't want it. I didn't want to spend any money on me because A, I'm not going to eat it. It's popcorn, and B, I didn't want to touch anything in this place because it's so filthy.
Do you not eat popcorn?
I do eat popcorn, especially if I don't touch it.
So do you eat it with a funnel?
I actually like smelling popcorn. I don't like eating. But anyway, so we go into the movie theater and there's maybe 5 people in there. Okay, but keep in mind it's Wednesday, 3:00 in the afternoon. So it's unexpected to see anyone care about this movie. Anyway, it was so bad. I don't talk during movies if I'm in a theater. I couldn't stop laughing and talking. I was like, what is going? Why are you doing this? Oh my God. That was me, right? But I wasn't the only one. The theater, the other 5 people were doing the same. They're like, and then there was this camaraderie, we were all banding together, this is so stupid. And then I think there was only one cool part. Oh yeah. Wonder Woman's music. That was it.
Oh, yeah, it's Hans Zimmer and King as well. So.
And you're like, that's cool.
Good job, King Will.
Good stuff. Yeah, Tina Grow, multi-millionaire. What is she, like 12 now?
I mean, at least 13.
13. She's doing great.
She is definitely very good at managing her money,
wealth.
her career,
Yeah.
her wealth.
She organizes her money. She has assets.
She on a social media post recently actually broke down wealth management.
Oh, she broke.
When she was explaining how
she wasn't crying, is what you're saying.
She wasn't crying.
But you said she
I
broke
mean,
down.
she might have cried
Out of happiness.
but I couldn't tell.
So she broke up.
She broke sideways, on a diagonal.
On diagonal, on a growth of
Well, she does something that you
What
very
does
much
she
try
that Will Smith
to teach.
Will Smith teaches us.
Yeah, Will Smith teaches.
The things I teach that no one listens to, but when Will Smith says it, they go, "Oh, I am."
Well, she says that she, out
What
of
does
all
she
the stuff
say?
that she earns, she only uses, I think, maybe 25% of it.
15%.
15% is what she.
You don't even remember.
It was 15%, and then
It's
she
a variable
saves
change.
and reinvests 85%.
Wait, what does she do?
She saves and reinvests the other 85%.
Why does she do that?
Because she's
That's
smart.
weird. What do you mean? Well, that's an assumption. She's intelligent as far as her money management, but we don't know her personally enough to be like, what is her IQ? But I would say she's smart because of her behavior. The way she brands herself, markets herself. She builds good quality relationships. She doesn't spend time with wasted energy. She's good. She takes responsibility. These things make her smart, but that's only because I pay attention. So
And you listen to Will Smith?
I do. I'll say that actually bothers me sometimes. Like when someone I'll post something that's like
Verbatim,
that somebody else might say, right?
like a celebrity.
And people that support, not that it's their responsibility to share, but let's say they come to me all the time, or they used to come to me, or anytime I was doing something that could benefit them, they want to get involved. And then they never share or comment or interact with my stuff. And then they'll literally share somebody else because they're a celebrity, because they want the movement, they want the interaction from the credibility of it. And they'll literally share
verbatim when you say all the time.
Yeah, like a quote I might say, or
it's really weird that
philosophy.
There are people that
It's all weird.
basically stopped interacting with you. Around the time that you were fighting for your life.
Well, you can't blame people for their actions. But what you can do is blame yourself for consistently putting time into wanting their attention. But that's the thing I don't. I learned very, very early on in my life to take responsibility and have it. Why do you always make jokes when I'm trying to talk? I have an opinion. I gotta get it out. It's very important. We can't diverge.
Listen, I'm just trying to get a timeline here.
Yeah, but I know,
With that.
go in bed. But when I was younger. But acceptance is very important for growth, and a lot of what I do is I just have acceptance in people's behavior. But the thing is, they sometimes want me to maintain my consistency of that behavior beforehand, so they want me to still be interested in them without them needing to be interested in me, and that's called boundary building, right? So if you're not going to put time into me, I'm not going to put time into any human being that doesn't put time into me. But I will always pay attention to people, and I will always be there for people that I know are helping others and being good souls. But at the same time, because I know people get busy.
Because there's a difference between, being kind and helping people and respecting people and then letting people walk.
Yeah. I mean, because you can be busy doing a lot of great things. But then, the only time you interact with me is when you A, need something, or B,
it involves something that you're doing.
We're working on something, all of a sudden, hey, man, or she or he is if you need me, I can help. It's
what's weird is when they do that, some people will be like, "Hi, what do you need from me?" And you give them a list of stuff.
And then they don't do it. Yeah, because you know why? Yeah. When people come to me sometimes, they're like, "Oh, you're working on a movie or whatever, or you're working on this, or you're working on that." I'm looking. If you want me in that role or something, it's like actually what we're looking for is, we just need help with marketing or this and that.
The behind the scenes.
And they're like, "Yeah, send me what you need me to do," and then you send it, and they don't do any of it, and they lose interest because they're not. Yeah. And that's failure 101. I mean, success is based not on you, but on other people and how you interact with them. And you don't always have to be the lead. You don't always have to be the front person in a band. You don't always have to be the most important person in whatever project is going on. You're a part of something greater, even if you're not on screen or on the audio or telling the joke.
Well, everybody's important. That's the thing. I think that's one of the things that people don't understand is that a project happens because everybody's important at doing that thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Everything has to get done, or else the project doesn't work.
It won't. Yeah, it can't work. Like I used to get into arguments with my band members, and people were like, "Hey, yeah, it's terrible." One of the big arguments was like basically why let's evenly be up front, or like the keyboardist would be like, I need to be up in front of stage so people see me, and it's like no one needs to see you, no one needs to see me really, and they're like, well, why don't you stand in the back? I go, that's fine, but when I'm singing, I'm a focal point, and I have to be up there for the singing. But when I play, if you ever watch video of me, sometimes I would back up if it was about somebody else in that moment musically.
I think what would have made that work when you were in a band is just have everyone on those little like hoverboard Segway things. So they can go back.
I was thinking of actually playing behind a screen or a sheet, and then have actors out front.
That actually would be pretty cool.
That would have been fun.
Then when Death Clock toured, they would basically just play, and like the actual live band members would be silhouetted. They would have like the screen up, and they would have everything out. They would just do the characters.
When you say do the characters, did they wear protection?
I mean, I wasn't there to examine that closely.
Would you?
The protection might have had Google guys.
Would you have filmed it on OnlyFans? Yeah, but Death Clock, that's their thing though. They do, the animation is more important than they are, and that's why they black themselves out in the shadows, and then they allow the screen to be up there. It's the same thing with Dream Theater. Like they're all equal, but Jordan Rudess is in the front and center. They leave that alone for James LeBrie, and he's not even there all the time. When he doesn't sing, he goes and takes a bath. Well, they do an instrumental section.
No, I got 20 minutes.
Yeah. He comes in, he goes, right? And then he goes away for 30 minutes. And he comes back and he goes, that's why. And then the song's over.
That's gotta be a cushy job and all metal.
Oh, I would love to sing for Dream Theater. I'd be so happy.
I mean, I only have to sing for 15 minutes out of this 2-hour set. Sweet.
Whose chair is that? Oh, that's Thomas's. Why? He sits most of the chair. Am I done? Let's go.
Do I have to be here for just go get some cookies? They got pizza in the green room.
Oh my god, man.
Dude.
I would never eat pizza on a show. Afterwards, I would, but never before. I don't eat before a show.
Oh yeah, you told me that story.
Yeah, I don't eat, and I brush my teeth before every show. Well, if I can, I do. Just because. And, I don't eat because I get so internally energized that it's like a form of stage fright, but I'm not afraid to go out there.
You just have a lot of energy.
Yeah, it's just woo, this is gonna happen, but I'm really calm though at the same time. I'm like, this is cool. Let me start in 30 minutes.
But inside you're like,
and then
I'm imagining a little kid running around in circles.
If I eat something, so I have to be unless I'm home. That's why I like having theater, because every time I was gonna perform, if I felt that feeling, I could just use my personal public bathroom that also had a shower in it, and then I could just be all right.
So I got a question for you.
Sure.
Maybe you don't like to use the public.
Go for it.
Restivities. If you're at a venue and they had.
If I had a venue.
If you were at a venue.
Anyone.
Yeah, we're touring.
Which one?
Well, one that has a shower. Would you be comfortable using their shower?
Yeah, because I would have flip flops with me. It's the same way I showered at a gym. Because you're supposed to wear flip flops.
At the gym.
Absolutely. If you go into the shower with flip flops, you're a douche. Because people have athlete's foot. Yeah, and sometimes they're carrying the foot, and they're like, I don't know where the athlete is, but I found
those guys should be reported.
But streaming,
at least they can hear your mouth.
So streaming, yeah. You know what I'm looking forward to? Is a society where we don't leave our houses.
Oh,
Wait.
right now.
Right. No, but I think what would be really cool is if more and more performances had the capability of being streamed or recorded.
Well, just like what there are a lot of bands are starting to do now.
Yeah, but not crap streaming like in the studio. I'm talking about like a show, like they get to do a show, a full-on production, right?
Some bands are starting to do that. They're like small. They're not like Kiss level production with like pyrotechnics. It's not like Rammstein doing like exploding babies and whatnot. But like Black Veil Brides had a. They recently released a new album, which is like a re-recording of one of their earlier albums.
What's that?
But they did a full production of the lot.
What is that?
He
He doesn't care about anything I have to say. He just needs to get his thoughts out. I can literally interrupt all day. As soon as I'm done with this, by the way, he's gonna finish where he stopped. Okay, go ahead. Going back. Literally, here it comes. He was half word. He's gonna start on the half word and just continue. Go ahead.
So I really love bacon.
So streaming. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Or ask questions of interest. No, you didn't answer. I had questions.
I literally answered it.
You didn't answer any of my questions.
You were asking what band?
No, it's like it's the album name. You just kept going.
I don't know that. I don't remember the album name.
What album? All right. So what band is it? What's going on?
Black Veil Brides.
What about
They do a live stream show.
it? Is it pre-recorded?
No.
So they do a live stream show.
Yes.
But I'm also talking like they should just film those shows and they should go on streaming. When you buy a DVD for a band you like and it's like their live performances.
So like Metallica did the which one?
S&M 1 and 2, and then they also did Some Kind of Monster, but that was like a movie.
No. They're not the Some Kind of Monster because that.
For the Black Album, they had like 4 shows they filmed to a Black Album.
Yeah. That one. Yeah.
What was the name of that album?
What's it?
Metallica. It's actually called Metallica.
Is it Houses of the Holy?
What's that? What is that? Black Mass Phantom? I don't know. That'd be a good name for a band. What's your band's name? Black Mass Phantom. What do you sing about? Clowns.
Phantoms.
Phantom clowns. So I think that would be good for streaming because it's just not. Same thing with comedy. But not a special, like, oh, I'm a comedian, I'm doing a special. There should be an opportunity, but I'm going to say, obviously, being a comedian, you need an audience. It's a very specific art style where you do need an audience to kind of give you that feedback.
Yeah, a lot of the really good comedians are able to like interact with the audience.
But when COVID is gone, there should be an opportunity where comedians can do smaller shows with a nice tight 20 or 30 people, and then do maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and like that's a thing you can watch. Like back in the old days, what's the name?
Was it like Gotham?
Rosie O'Donnell? Well, Gotham's still.
Well, no, like they had like a.
They still have it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. I mean, obviously not right now because they closed. But Rosie O'Donnell used to have her like half-hour special.
Okay.
But she became crazy. No, I don't know what happened to her. I think she just retired from life. She did the Rosie O'Donnell show, and then she basically had a meltdown. And good girl, though. Very lovely man. Just kidding.
I gotta go.
See, JD doesn't have any opinions on anything funny. He doesn't find that funny. He's just looking at me like, what do you mean? I find it hysterical as soon as we get off the air.
I'm giggling.
What are you giggling at?
Rosie O'Donnell.
All right, no,
Racing
but Ronnie Dangerfield, he did like, this is Ronnie Dangerfield's comedy hour that was like on HBO. And then there was a couple of people that did that. Of course, was that when the people who raised money for comedy, with comedy for the homeless, I can't remember that, but it was like Billy Crystal, Robin Williams, and Whoopi Goldberg. They did like 4 or 5 of them, maybe a little bit more. Those things were, really good, and I think, with streaming, it allows us to have maybe that opportunity as something that's more consistent. That's why Netflix is doing like the hour comedy specials all the time, because they're like, we can do it. The only problem is they're doing like people that are going to draw an audience, right? What I'm talking about is more streaming where they're
It's something where like smaller acts
Yeah.
could have like the same ability to do something like that.
not unknowns, you know, but
Yeah,
people that are rising up, even bands, like, you know, like when My Dying Bride releases a DVD, there should be an option to see the band that open up for them. You know, especially if it's a named band that's like on the rise, but not necessarily like a local band. You know,
Yeah. Like somebody like, you know, new, quote unquote.
yeah, but the other thing is like if you're a band or a comedian, you should be doing this on your own. You know, like that's what Patreon's for. That's what YouTube Red is for. If you meet the requirements, even Amazon allows you to do. You can sign up to an Amazon. No, yeah, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, you can upload your stuff.
You can upload your stuff and get paid based on viewage and retention of that viewage. And a comic, you know, I know it takes years to make like a good strong 10 minutes, you know, but if you're at that point where you're a comedian who isn't necessarily getting on Netflix specials or, you know, getting on television or getting on those talk shows, and I mean, honestly, if you're a real comedian, you don't want to be doing the same set for 30 years, you know, like even George Carlin at one point was like, that's it, I'm doing a new show every year, you know, and that's a hard, tough move, but if you have those muscles worked and you're exercising it and you're getting out there working it, at the end of the year, you should just film something, even if it's a 30-minute comedy special, and put it on Amazon and let people pay to see it. And they wouldn't, the same thing would, if you had Patreon, be like, look, if you're a Patreon person, you know, you get to watch this before everybody, this special before everybody. And don't just put it on your website, and you could even make it sellable on your website.
Well, your website should be your hub for everything. You should have everyone going to your website so they can.
Well, your website is to buy me, see me, touch me.
It's basically they can pick how they want to consume you.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you have like a little bit of like hot sauce inside just in case.
Okay.
I want some hot sauce with these burgers. No.
Speaking of burgers,
I could go for some burgers.
definitely on the hungry side.
But whatchamacallit? But it's the same thing with bands. Bands should be doing that. You know, like if you have an album and you do a show, and you could put a show on yourself and just do the album for that show. Maybe get an opening band, and don't do a live stream of it because that's a terrible sound. But yeah, get a nice sound quality of it, and you know, a couple other things, and make sure you do the same thing. You know, get it live, not live. Put it on the streaming.
Whether it's YouTube, Amazon.
Yeah, wherever it is,
And
and
have the full.
not that you're doing it to make money, but that it's there. You know, allow it to be an option for your audience, and also for comedians or bands, you don't want to just give your stuff away for free, especially if it's a product. But at the same time, you have to give them the option to get it. And sometimes people don't want to buy it, but they're happy to rent it or view it or.
Which is cool with you know, streaming platforms, especially like with the Amazon option. People already pay the monthly thing for Amazon Prime, so if you are able to put it on Amazon Prime,
Then you can watch it.
it's like they're getting it for quote unquote free, but you're still making, you know, something on it.
Yeah, you make money off of the time to watch.
Yeah, same thing with like, you know, streaming your music on like Spotify, Apple Music.
Yeah,
you know, like people are paying just a monthly fee to have the access, but like the more people listen to it, you know, the more royalties.
Exactly.
You know, the
Yeah, because
fraction of the
Spotify, if you go to DistroKid, there's an opportunity where you basically pay X amount of dollars for the year, and it's up there, and then people listen to it. And I think you need 1,000 views is 18 cents, right? 1,000 listens is 18 cents or something.
It's ridiculous. I forget which was it Deezer is the streaming platform that pays the most?
I don't know.
There's something that pays, it was like 2 cents per stream instead of like, you know, the 100th of a 10th of a fraction of a percent.
Well, according to Spotify, you can expect to make between $3 and $5 per 1,000 streams on Spotify. How much you get paid depends on what percentage of the total stream pie per month you own.
Because they
Obviously,
make both on our music
you need to get a lot of streams in order to make money. Yeah.
and our masters.
That makes a lot of sense.
So for every 1,000 we get, we're gonna get $3. High five.
Woo!
We can buy a cup of coffee. Well, I can buy coffee. You can buy a tea.
You can buy a cup of coffee. Coffee. Do you want some coffee? Coffee.
No, coffee. CWAWFEE.
How often does my real New York accent come out?
Every day.
Every day?
Yes.
It doesn't,
When you don't speak New York, I get concerned because usually it's like something serious, or you're like in pain, or you're like on your deathbed.
you don't think it's the more aggravated I am, the more it comes out?
The more passionate you are about something.
It's just weird because I talk to my accent all the time.
Well, must be that I'm your best friend.
Don't give it away because the girls I date, they might be like, "Hey, you always sound like you're a New Yorker," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm passionate about you, baby. I love you."
Ladies, if he doesn't talk to you in New York, he don't like you.
No, if I do talk to them in New York, it means I don't like them. Because when I'm passionate, you're saying that the accent goes away.
No, I said that when you're passionate,
It comes
comes
back.
out.
Oh, it does. Oh,
yeah, no,
oh.
because you're not paying attention. You're just like saying stuff, and you get so excited that the New York comes out.
So I was there, and I was like in my cab, you know, and I'm drinking a coffee, and
Why are you straight in Boston?
I'm I'm on Long Island.
Long,
It's Long Island.
Long Island.
I call it Middle Island, actually. If you haven't been to Middle Island, I call it Middle Island. And also, I worked at a company when I was much younger, where the boss of the area couldn't. English was the second language, but what was funny is Manatuck.
Oh, Manhattan.
He would call Metucket. And one day he's trying to explain to me about that I had to go to Metucket to cover to cover a store. He's like, you got to go to Metucket to cover a store. And I was like, why do I go to Metucket? I was like, wait, Metucket? He goes, yeah, it's right. And he starts explaining where it is. I go, I've never heard of that town. He's like, what are you talking about? You just covered it like 3 months ago. And I go, Manatuck? He goes, no. So then he tells me no. And he goes, Metucket. And I go,
show me on a map.
I go, I need to see this on a map. No, but I go, there's no way that's Metucket. It's Manatuck. He goes, no, I'm telling you it's Metucket. And I go, are you going to tell me that it's Metucket? Does that mean quag is just something that Elmer Fudd has in his toilet?
Quag.
Wait, what do you got in your toilet? I got a quag. Like a clog.
Or Patchagoo is my favorite.
Patchagoo?
Patchagoo.
Anyway, that's why I call it Middle Island. It's, it doesn't matter. Also, if you ever date someone that gets mad at you because you call Target Target and they go, no, it's pronounced Target, they're not the person for you.
Yeah.
And I should have learned that months into my 7-year. I was only with her for a year. But it was towards the end, I was like,
we're done.
You're done. You know what made me realize that relationship was over?
The Target joke?
No. Definitely. It should have been, but it wasn't. No, she once asked me a hypothetical question. As soon as someone asks you a hypothetical question and expects you to respond as if it's real, first of all, you're in unknown territory. Hypothetically speaking. Anyway, so she goes, let me ask you a hypothetical question. Instantly, I was like, I don't want to be here. I hate hypothetical questions.
No, you don't. You ask me hypothetical questions all the time.
I like asking them as a joke, but there's literally anything you say will not create an emotional response to my distrust of you. I'd be like, what do you mean? Like, hypothetically, JD, like, imagine you could shit out lightning or piss thunder. What would you pick? Well, really working out. Like, is the lightning, like, do I get burned? No, you're immune to it. You just have the ability to, lightning,
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be emotional, like, how come he didn't pick thunder? But anyway. So that's different, but I hate hypothetical questions where my answer is going to dictate the behavior of the person for eternity, right? Even though like the thing never happened. Anyway, so she goes, hypothetically speaking, if I ended up becoming quadriplegic, would you stay with me? And I said, well, there's a lot to really consider with that. First of all, what if you not being able to move your arms and legs makes you and she goes, whoa. I said a quadriplegic. That means I just can't move my legs. So I said, no,
Quad is 4.
I was like, quad is 1. She goes, no, that's a paraplegic. I said, all right. Outside of that, because I don't want to argue with you about any of this, but moving forward, let's just say you're a quadriplegic and you can still move your arms for some reason. What if you're an a-hole? like you are by telling me that a quadriplegic is not a paraplegic and vice versa. If you're an a-hole, I don't want to stay with you. And she's like, you wouldn't stay with me? If you're an a-hole, I don't care that you're.
If you become emotionally abusive.
Yeah, I go,
Wow.
I can't handle that. And she got mad at me because I wouldn't stay with her.
For being a hypothetical,
Yeah.
emotionally abusive partner.
And then she was telling me I wasn't answering the question honestly. And I go, no, there's a lot of honesty in my question. I'm telling you right now. But most of all, you don't quadriplegic. So I was like, this relationship's over. I have to get out of this relationship. And that's when I knew. I knew that couldn't be a real
So
relationship.
what you're saying is that the Tarjay thing didn't initially tell you.
Tarjay woke me up. Like I was like, doesn't she know? I've told her several times.
So how many times, how did you get into the relationship if you were sleeping?
Well, because I had to.
Did you just wake up and she's like, hey, I'm your girlfriend?
I was like, oh my God. No, my cousin was trying to get with this girl who he did get with and ruined her life. Because, it's crazy. And her best friend came over for like a double date. But I was like just there. And see, JD's single. Anyway, so she came over and we were hanging out. And then at the end of the night, I walked her out. And then I kissed her, And she's like, oh, why'd you kiss me? I was like, why didn't you stop me? She was like, I was interested. And I was like, well, I was interested. And then
I
she
feel like
took
that should have been the first clue that something was up.
Well, no. I mean, I wouldn't have made a move like I didn't know. Like, I took her to a car and she was like fiddling her keys and she wasn't like,
Yeah.
she didn't open the door right away and she was still like,
She was giving me the cues.
she was giving me the cue, the signs. And back then, you didn't have to ask for emotional understanding. You didn't have to be like, all right, so let me just get this straight. I don't want to ruin the moment. But would you like me to kiss you? Like, it was a time where she was giving me the clues, right?
She gave you that.
And she didn't stop me. She didn't put her hand out like,
She gave you the
whoa.
winky look.
Yeah, her pants were off. Everything was showing that she was potentially most likely interested. Anyway, so I kissed her. And then we hung out. She was pretty cool though in the beginning, but she was an artist and everything. But some personalities don't work. Like I'm a very logistic person, but I'm also I don't take life seriously until it needs to be. So like medical reasons, emotional reasons, pizza. But like if it's none of those things, then I will make jokes. Nothing is serious to me because I just don't care. And if you can't handle it, I'm not. You know what? I would love to watch this while I'm at work.
You work from home. I have phones on.
Yeah, I could just not be in the same room as you. Why? Okay, see, really? No, the movie's terrible. So you would watch a crappy movie with a girl if you knew it was crappy.
Depends on how much I like this girl.
See, I would watch a crappy movie with a girl. If I knew a movie was crappy and she's like, oh, I really want to see this movie, I would watch it because I already know. But if she's like, this movie looks great, and then it's bad, and she does that twice in a row, I can't trust her opinion. I can't. What do you think is great is I'm not up for it.
Well, she might find that it is wonderful, but you don't like it.
Oh, no. I'm talking about a movie where you're both like, this was terrible.
Oh yeah, well, that's, yeah, no, they're right to revoke.
Yeah, like the funny thing is I was dating this girl and that's how it was. Every movie she picked was just, she picked The Tree of Life as one of the movies. Let's just put it that way, right? Terrible movie.
I don't think I even know what that is.
Right? And she said, every movie I pick is horrible. I go, really? And she goes, yeah. I go, you said you've enjoyed every movie. Well, there's a couple in there I didn't enjoy. What are they? She couldn't name them. So literally, every time we went to the movies and she said it was good, I go, hey, I always pick a good one. And I swear, every time we left the movie she picked, she'd be like, wow, that movie was so bad. I was like, was it? I couldn't tell. Was this my pick or yours? And that's why I'm not good in relationships. Because when I know I'm right, I'm right. When I know I'm wrong, I accept that
That's
I'm
why we
wrong.
have the right wrong board.
Which is filled with me being right. And JD has these fake ones up there.
I have like 6.
They are, none of them are real except for one. I gave you one.
They're all real.
Well, they're real because they're there, but they're not real for real reasons.
I think I earned my next
Let me hear what greens are. See?
Name all of yours.
Look, I can name every single one of them. Whatever I said was correct. You hear what he just said? Oh, I earned a green one. How did you earn a green one?
Because you're saying something that's wrong, and I am right.
You are not right.
I am right because I've earned those.
So you're saying you earned every single one of them?
Yes.
Honestly?
Yes.
And truthfully?
Yes.
Even the one you just put up there the other day that I made a red mark that you took off and corrected. Remember I put a red mark up there as a joke?
Yeah, but you
And then you-
erased the entire thing.
That's right. And then you added the red one as a green one as if you earned it.
No. It was
Yes, you did. How many you have up there?
6.
That's right. Now what did you have up there before I put the red on? 4.
I think you put the red one up there because it was right.
I have just proven my point. I put it up there as a joke. And you thought it was something
Well,
that
then
you did right.
Then you, sir, defiled the sacred right border.
Correct. So I get another one. I'm just saying you were wrong. I disagree with you.
I think we need to eat dinner because I'm
I'm
starving.
starving. Oh look, it's almost 6 o'clock, just like I told them. Anyway, so that's it. Look, I don't make this stuff up. I'm just telling you what I know. This show is crazy.
Yeah.
How long was the show? What do we got over 2
2
hours?
hours? 21 minutes.
Oh Jesus, how are these shows getting so long?
We also had technical difficulties.
I don't remember.
Half an hour.
That's correct. You get one. By the way, the way it works is if I say something and JD says I'm wrong, and then I end up being right, I get a mark. If JD says something and I end up being wrong and he ends up being right, he gets one. However, the problem is when he's wrong, I'm right, and when I'm right, he's wrong.
I think the problem with them both really stubborn.
No, I'm right. Was I right about the device? About there being a variable difference, and then you mentioned only 2, and I was like, no, there's definitely something else, and you were like, no,
Well, we already
it's
established
exactly
that
the same.
I already said that you were right.
I know, but I'm just saying, in the beginning, you were like, no, and then you gave me a little pushback, and I was like,
Because,
look,
to be fair, I thought you were referring to the program.
but that's the problem, you're assuming, and you're not supposed to assume, you're supposed to be calculative. By assuming, we were arguing a moot point, because I was saying there is a variable, and you were just putting it. You know what you just did?
But
You just did this. Ready? Look, if you take away the Democratic blue states,
Oh, dear
the
God.
COVID is doing it fine. That's what you just did.
that is insulting.
That is exact. You know what?
That is insulting.
I have a new. I know what I'm going to call it. Every time you do that, I have a new term. I'm not going to use it now. I'm going to try it out next time. So I just want you to know it's coming. But that's what you just did. You just did the
I
thing,
didn't do it.
the verb that I want to use. And then you did. Did you just say you didn't do it? All right, we have a.
No. because-
You just-
No. Because
Did you not assume?
What that is purposely misleading. What I did was assumed in a conversation.
No, that is not.
But then
He didn't
at the end-
mislead. He didn't mislead. He said to prove his point. If you take away the blue states,
Yeah, but that
the COVID's
the
not that
difference-
bad.
But the difference is what he's doing
Yeah.
is he's saying stuff on purpose. What I did was I assumed in a conversation.
But the
But
out.
when everything was proven that you were correct, I was like, oh, you are correct.
Yeah, because you realize.
Then I was wrong
You went
in that
left.
situation.
I'm just saying. You got
What
to
I'm
listen to
saying-
what I say because I'm very specific with my words.
You're very specific.
Specific.
Spasibo?
Specific.
Spasibo?
Can you say? Come on, man.
I can say I'm really hungry when you
I'm so hungry right now. You want to do another 3 hours?
No. And we don't make this stuff up. I don't make this stuff
I
up.
don't know. If you want to see JD's stuff, just go to his website. It's on the wings of makearightlefthere.com.
And if you want to see the content, it's
BBR
on the
Productions.
wings of dragons.
See, he didn't even add the beginning. Whoop. Anyway, go to BBR Productions. You can find out everything about our company and what we're doing. Please know that every Sunday
We're here.
we do the live show. You go right to YouTube and watch the live show. If you don't want to do that, you can go to Twitch
And Facebook.
and Facebook. But we would rather you go to YouTube and interact with us on there and ask us questions during the show. We had a couple, unfortunately.
Because we actually have a nicer camera with a prettier on YouTube.
Oh, hi, how's it going? Hey. But when that's all said and done, we actually cut the show down and edit it, and we put a brand The brand new Sunday episode goes up every Thursday following that live broadcast. But you can be a part of the show. Come on, say hi, add some questions, get involved, give some feedback. We'll do some shout outs for you. And that's
And then you can be immortally remembered on the streaming of the YouTube.
that is correct. Anyway, okay, bye.
Bye.
Woo!
Oh, my ears are so sweaty.
My ears are sweaty. Mom spaghetti.
Why is that a line? Alright, let's save that.
Dude, that was crazy.